Hello, hello. All right. We are trying to get situated here. And awesome. Okay, we're going live. And let's see. Okay. Let me just check also as well on my socials, just so I'm not like, hello. Like what's going on. All the socials here. And for those that are joining with us, just give us a minute. We're trying to get our bearings, get this
Yes.
live going.
Live.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're on. Cool. Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Happy Thursday, y'all. It is August 15th, 2024, and we are in the midst of a crazy, amazing week for me and our special guest, Bessy Martinez, who is joining us. If you're joining us today on YouTube or Instagram, please drop a line and say hello. Tell us where you're also coming from or where you're watching from, what city you're from. We want to know. But we're really excited. This is the first time me and Bessy have done an IG live together, and we connected last year, Bessy. I think last year.
I think
At
so.
it was at her event,
Mhm.
and Bessy was out there doing her thing in Austin, and I had to go out to Austin because I love Austin, y'all. Maybe one day I'll move out there with you, Bessy.
Yes.
Because my in-laws live in Austin. And also, my son is a huge Longhorn fan, so he wants to go. He wants to go to UT. So I always joke with him and tell him, "I'm going to go out there when you go to college." He's like, "No, Mom, stay." So we're super excited to have you, Bessy. But thank you so much for joining us here on Let's Vamonos Live and just being a part of this conversation. Obviously, today we're going to talk about National Latina Day. What's it about? How y'all got started, how you've inspired so many, and just all the amazing work that y'all are doing as well. And of course, the events that are happening, which are this month. So thank you for those that are joined with us. So yeah, I'll let you take it, Bessy. Like, tell us a little bit about how y'all got started.
Yeah, no, for sure. Again, thank you so much, Desiree, for having me. I know it's been a long time coming. I mean, we both pretty much live pretty busy lives, so from family to our businesses and our careers. So I run a program here based out of Austin, Texas, called Austin Latinas Unidas, which is part of a nonprofit called the Latina Foundation, 501c3, that aims to be able to support Latinas through community empowerment, personal development, and entrepreneurship. And I started this program back in 2020. But specifically, I started Latina Day Weekend, which is our annual event in celebration of National Latina Day. This event started back in 2021. I started Austin Latinas Unidas with just the idea of wanting to make friends here in the Austin area when I moved here during the pandemic. And I did not find what I specifically was looking for when it came to certain types of communities and just like-minded people. So I started Austin Latinas Unidas really with that, just wanting to create a space where we just could come authentically ourselves and just kind of be, mingle with people regardless where we were coming from, our backgrounds, our careers, all that good stuff. And so when I was looking for an annual event, I really like themes, and I found that National Latina Day existed. And I was like, that's insane because I've never heard of it. And so, it's 2021 when I find out about National Latina Day, but it's been happening since 2015, which was so crazy because I didn't know anything about that. So I followed the crumb trails. I read all of the articles and came across the lady, Dolores Alvarez Castilla, who is the original founder of National Latina Day. And I reached out to her and I said, "Hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing in the Austin area. I wanted to do an annual event, and I was thinking, I think this is a perfect way to kind of amplify what National Latina Day offers, right?" And so she started it from a Facebook group page. Really didn't do much with it. It was just a Facebook page. To this day, it still is a Facebook page. But she's like, tacos, tequila, donuts, coffee, all the food groups have a national day. But Latinas have done so much in, history. Our ancestors have paved the ways for us to be able to, accomplish the things that we've accomplished. So why don't we have, and not only that, but we also drive the economy for, so why don't we have our own national day? So she just started it, didn't do much with it. And then I said, okay, well, I'd love to be able to honor and celebrate it and see how we can drive this conversation even further. And she gave me her blessing. I mean, to the point where she calls me comadre, and she's a much, much older lady than me. And so we kind of developed that friendship. And so we started what used to be called Latina Day ATX. And it was just a really small event, 4-hour event, panel discussions, a little small market to continue contributing to the economy, the local economy with Latina-owned businesses. And now it's a whole weekend long.
Yeah.
This is true Bessy form where be careful what you wish for, because it's going to happen. So when I opened my mouth and I said, well, I want this thing to be a whole weekend long thing. Why can't it be, from Friday to Sunday? Like, we should be celebrating. And so we tried to keep it as close as possible to the National Day, which is August the 20th. But we were fortunate enough that the city of Austin paid attention and said, hey, we want to give you your own day. So last year, they proclaimed August the 20th in conjunction with National Latina Day. We also have Austin Latina Day. So it's a full week this year of a bunch of activities and just celebration of Latinidad. So we'll be having our own little celebration at City Hall this year to honor our first year anniversary as our proclaimed day, August the 20th. And then Friday, we kick off with our networking event. Saturday is our full day programming from 9 to 5, where we are fortunate to have this year Ms. Dolores, or as she's also known as Loli. She's no longer in Texas, but she lives out in Florida. And so we are flying her in so she can be our keynote speaker this year. So that way she can tell us all about the amazing things and why she started from her own voice, National Latina Day. And then we ended with a Latina luncheon on Sunday, just kind of taking it right back to our roots, our 4-hour roots, and just having conversations. I think one of the beautiful things about this too is that we get to choose how we want to show up. And so our theme for this year is from the inside out. And that really is how, as Latinas, are we evolving inside, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever you name it. And how is it looking outside for our contributions to furthermore for the generations to come. And so I think it's something really special this year. Yes, it's a lot. I think you and I can agree that these types of events is a huge production. But I think on the other side, it's always super rewarding in seeing the Latinas come together, because we are a force to be reckoned with. Yes. That when you put us all in a room together, agárrense.
Oh, yes, for sure. And I just wanted to call a couple of comments that I do see on IG. We've got Cookie Face Cosmetics said, Austin is the place to be. So you should get some much love right there. Mm-hmm. And then our amiga Connie Leon said, thank you both for representing. So thank you for those that are joining on with us. Please drop a line where you're watching from. If you're from Houston or Austin or any other neighboring cities, we would love to know where you're from, and just to love to connect with y'all. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right with everything that you're saying regarding we are a force to be reckoned with. And I've admired all the work that you've done over the last 4 years, and it's been interesting. So people always ask me, oh, well, how did you get started? Right? Just like I asked you. And I always tell people, well, Austin, this woman in Austin was doing something. And I was like, okay, well, where's our event? Where's Houston? Houston likes to tote around the label of being one of the 4th largest cities in the country. Therefore we should be representing, a huge amount of representation specifically for Latinas as well. And so 3 years ago when I was just kind of hanging out, just doing my own thing, there wasn't anything. And I was kind of like, how is there not anything? There's some amazing Latina women here in our city. And the only thing I knew was y'all were doing something. And I think I found out about it very short notice. It wasn't until I saw it and I was like, okay. And I was like, well, what are we doing? Nothing. Nothing. And so I give y'all the kudos. and all of the accolades that y'all were the ones that really kind of inspired me and spurred me to be like, okay, Houston, we got to get our act together, because I'm also a part of the Houston Latina Collaborative, which is one of the largest blogger communities here in Houston that's been around for over 10 years. Our founder, Connie Leon, has been the mainstay for it and has been the driving force. But at the same time, it's a lot of work.
Mhm.
And sometimes, like you said, you're only a team of one, and it can get exhausting.
Mhm.
So when we connected back in 2023, me and Connie, she became a collaborator for our second year, and then we said, okay, let's get this back on track, because Houston Latina Collaborative used to celebrate or acknowledge the day, but not really have any huge events. They would have gatherings and stuff like that, but nothing in the sense of what y'all are doing out there in Austin with the Latina Day Weekend. So I just want to commend you for that, Bessy, because I don't mind sharing where I got my inspiration from, because it wasn't my idea. It wasn't my like, oh, my thought or whatever. And I just took a note from y'all and said, okay, if they're doing it, then I can do it, right? And in a way that is also uplifting and inspiring. For me, I know we have some things in common as well. We're big on the entrepreneurship. I'm huge supporter of small businesses here in the community, specifically Latina makers. And so now we're on our third year, and there have been collaborators that I'm working with right now that wanted to do 3 days, Bessy, and I was like, I don't think so. I was like, I
You'll
don't
get
think it.
there. You'll
I
get
was
there.
like,
I actually, the way this all actually started is last year we did it for also the same thing too. It was 3 days. The year before that, it was only one day, but it was a full day schedule. And what it was is I was like, I'm gonna make this a whole week long event. And everybody looked at me like, huh? And I said, and I was like, what I wanted to be is a South by meets Coachella for Latinas. And
yeah,
they looked at me and they're like, okay, cool. That's awesome. That sounds great. And that's why I say, be careful what you say and you put it out into the world, because things started to happen that way. Suddenly people were starting to create events that were tagged on to kind of the way that South by has it, where it was like an unofficial South by event.
yeah,
During the times that South by was happening, people were
yeah.
starting to do Latina Day events on the same week that we were hosting. And I was like, I told you guys, I told you. Like, I'm
You
sorry.
created,
That's just how I roll.
yeah.
This year actually is the first year that Waco is also doing their own uh
Oh, wow.
Latina Day conference is what theirs is called.
Okay.
Also stemmed from the same thing. She's actually one of our ambassadors for Austin Latinas Unidas. And she approached me and said, hey, I want to do what you're doing for Latina Day Weekend. How do I do it? And I said, you just start. And so now she's
Yeah.
representing up in Waco, and she does the same thing too, like you, Desiree. She was just recently interviewed, and she told them the same thing too, like, hey, like they're doing it out in Austin, and the person that's running it, she also inspired me to do it. She's been my mentor and all that good stuff. And so to me, it's like, look, we literally should be doing this everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think it's that. I think it's the fact that not too many people knew about it. And it
Yeah.
just takes one person.
Yeah, and bringing awareness, and then also like feeling like you're a part of something too, right? Like, even though I know we're both doing two separate events in two separate cities, but we are a part
Yeah.
together. We are joining together, joining forces
Yeah.
to, like you said, to we are a force to be reckoned with. And when we cultivate something and also create gatherings like this, we have a lot to bring to the table. And specifically for Let's Vamonos, one of our pillars is to make sure our voices are heard, to make sure your voice is heard, and to speak up. And that is super important. And so this is just another opportunity for and platform to have those voices heard. I know you're going to have some amazing speakers and keynote speakers at your event. And I know as well, we're curating our speakers as well with what we do here in Houston. And we're just very like, I'm just so grateful right now, honestly. I've been so blessed and gracious to have the support, because 2 years ago I wasn't even in a venue. It wasn't even anything of what we're trying to do this year. And like you said, like, people will also find you.
Mhm.
People will reach out to you, and that's what happened with our event for this year. We had a bunch of collaborators that wanted to work with us for this event, and I was like, oh wow, like, and younger blood, so that was helpful because I'm in my 40s, y'all, and I'm like, I don't got the energy that these 20-year-olds got. And so that was helpful as well. It's like, okay, because they're giving me a little like energy boost too. Like, okay, they're like, you can do this. This is gonna be great. I'm like, and like I said, they wanted to do 3 days, and I said, oh no, like, let's just do two. I'm a little, I like to jump in, but I'm also kind of like, and in the sense of like, okay, like, let's just one day at a time, Desiree. Because
Oh,
I
and
know,
you know what? I'm an executor. You tell me, oh, there's no holding me back. I mean, I might question myself halfway through there and go, oh my God, what did I get myself into? But
yeah,
because even my board has said that. They're like, Bessy, what we love about you is that you are an executor. You say it, you don't just
yeah.
say it. You literally are like
Oh
saying it
yeah.
just to inform us because you're already moving the ball forward.
Yes. Yes. Just giving you the heads up to some extent. Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Well, if
And
you want to do the 3-day weekend, let me know and I can help you guys
I
out.
know we are definitely going to be in talks after this year. We definitely would love to work with y'all. We would love to. I've openly said to people, hey, Bessy Martinez out there in Austin, like, I want to do stuff with her because she's doing great things. And we also as Latinas have to understand that together we are stronger. And
Mhm.
it's about building this bridge of just, like you said, unity, and also building this bridge of cultural awareness of,
Mhm.
this is, I know, this is what Austin brings to the table. This is what Houston brings to the table. But
Mhm.
there are so many amazing cities in Texas that
Yeah.
have some amazing Latinas, I know. And we as Texans, I feel like we are obligated to show what we can do as not just a community, but through our culture as well. And so I'm excited. I feel like we're bringing a lot of energy this year. Like I said, we've got some young blood and some fresh blood as well that are like energized as well, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot out of you, and it can be very rewarding, like you said, but it can also be very draining, especially right now. My kids just started school this week,
Yep. Same here.
so I'm like,
It was
my
today.
kid, yeah, and so I'm like football practice, dropping off kids, school, still buying school supplies, all those crazy things. But we want to be able to also be able to support y'all. So where can we find y'all and support y'all on social media and also websites?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would say that local, it would be Austin Latinas Unidas is our local, if you want to call it chapter, sure, because we're already in talks of expanding to other cities come 2025. Again, it's one of those like I opened my mouth and now we're here. So just kind of stay tuned for that. We are going to be expanding Austin Latinas Unidas, the programming aspect and everything that we've been doing for the last 4 years in other cities. Because again, it's one of those, so like our motto is Unidas Somos Mejores. And it is because we are better together. And it's not, I am probably one of the very few people that talk about when it comes to competition, because I think the only people we should be competing against is ourselves. Like I compete against
Yes.
myself every single day. And I think I torture myself a lot every day as it is anyways. So there's no, I don't have the energy to compete with
Yes.
somebody else. For me, that is what really has driven Austin Latinas Unidas to be what it is, and it's because everybody that stepped in the doorways understands that when we walk out of there, nobody's seeing each other as a competition. What we're really seeing is, a sisterhood, a collaborativeness. Like Austin, unfortunately, is not seen as predominantly, a Latinidad being showcased like it would be in Houston or San Antonio, which is what I have been fighting for the last 4 years.
Yes.
And so because we all have that in common, we cannot see ourselves to compete because we've seen it time and time, whether it's through data or it's through just the energy felt in a room, that when we come together, we all sit down on the same table. We even have to sometimes build our own tables. And you can't come and tell me that you're going to build your table by yourself, because that's just not going to happen. I don't care who you
No.
are. Like even the IKEA tables, you got to have somebody to help you out.
That is so true. Yeah,
Um,
and it is true. I mean, and that's I'm sure y'all are spreading this message as well. But here in Houston, we're talking about being and celebrating National Latina, it doesn't mean you have to be Latina to celebrate.
Oh
It
no,
doesn't mean
absolutely.
you have to, it means come out, support the culture, support your fellow
I
Latina.
Oktoberfest, and I'm not.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's some of the messaging that we're really focusing on this year is because, we've had some people be like, well, do I have to be Latina to be a vendor? It's like, no, I mean, like, apply. Like, yes, we would love to have you. And we definitely are having some collaborators that are not
Yeah, like
Latina, or, they're
we need like
Latino.
we need as much help as we possibly can. Even us Latinas, that you can rally us all together. But even then, we're still limiting our own resources and our own potential when we don't allow others to come and support us as well. So like men and other people from other cultures coming in through the door and saying, we're here for you. We cannot relate culturally to you all, but we see what you guys are doing. So we, put us to work. Like, I mean, like, who doesn't want to take, help?
Yeah. No, well, for sure. And also, just seeing, like I said, the dynamic of what we can do. We are, particularly our programming this year for day one is getting those nonprofits out there that are specifically helping Latino communities, such as Latino Entrepreneurs Week and Latin Restaurants Week. These are initiatives that have been happening here in Houston over the last, Latin Restaurants Week's been over the last 5 years, I believe. But they need to go out to Austin. Like, why are they not out in Austin?
Well, why not bring Austin to Houston? I mean, I'm going to be out
Yeah.
there this fall again, like I was
Yeah.
last year with Latinas Lead. We're going to be
Okay.
here again in the fall, so stay tuned for that. I would say
Okay.
so a lot of what you can really truly find, just go to my social media platform because everything's
Mhm.
listed there. So
Yes, yes, yes.
the Everyday Jefa, that's somebody coined me that. I can't take credit for that. They just said I'm just an everyday person doing all the Jefa moves. I'm like,
Ah, love it. Love it.
free marketing. So cool beans. We just took it and we ran with it. But my hope also too is that we're, as people start to really do things like what you all are doing in Houston as well, with celebrating and honoring National Latina Day, that we can start showcasing those events as well. Because again, it's not just about what's in our community. It's our community also wants to know what else is out there, what trustworthy
Right.
platform is out there that is sharing things that are of my interest. So it's easy for me to say, hey guys, like, now that you guys are doing it, now that Waco's, now whenever National Latina Day comes around, we can start saying, hey, doesn't matter where you are, you've got places you can pick and choose. You don't have to just come to Austin. You can go to Houston,
Yeah.
if it's feasible
And
for you.
I mean, that is definitely my goal for one year is to go to Austin and celebrate with y'all, even if whenever our event is happening, like I'll make it happen somehow, right? We'll make it happen. But that is definitely a goal because I would love to celebrate at other cities. When we went for that Her Texas event and uh seeing the energy that was at that event was way different than some of the energy that was here in Houston. And
Mhm.
not that it was bad or anything, it was just different. And
Yes,
it was just like,
yeah.
oh, I need some of this,
Our approach is a little different.
Yeah. And
If you go to San Antonio, you go to an event, the energy, and I've done that too. I've gone to Hustle and Socialize, which is another Latina conference out there. It doesn't happen around National Latina Day, but their energy is so much different too. It's just, you get to just, do what is it? The flight of events, like
yeah.
your flight of
Yeah,
whatever.
no, you're right. The flight, like the beer flights or the
Yeah.
coffee flights, or
Yeah.
yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Well, we're just so excited for y'all to be able to continue y'all's work. You're doing amazing work. Commend y'all. I hope to get to that level of the 3 day weekend. Don't hold me to it though, because I just like this weekend. The 2 day weekend is a true test. It's going to be a true test for us and our community. Um, and a true test for me as well. And but I said either way, moving forward, we will always celebrate. However we celebrate, we will celebrate, whether it's a 2 day weekend or one day or whatever. But this is just I mentioned to someone earlier. I know it sounds so cliche and cheesy, but we're just getting started. This is our third year. This is our first year though in a venue that's not uh, a marketplace. That was where our first two events was just a common space that we were able to use. And so this year, having an actual venue and a blank canvas has been such a benefit, but at the same time, a little like, whoa, this is so out of my element. I am creative, but I am not the event coordinator or the event decor person. So I'm trying my best here to bring all of the things that, of course, us Latinas love and enjoy when we do go to events, is some of that aesthetic, right? The aesthetic. And so it's been testing me a lot
No.
in a way that I haven't. Like I said, if you came to my house, it's just a house. It's not like curated in any specific way. I
Um,
yeah, I have my little background stuff, but nothing, like I wouldn't be able to be selling Amazon products at my house. But yeah, so we're super excited for y'all, and we wish y'all nothing but blessings and just good fortunes, and just so excited. Hopefully we can connect next year and see how we can collaborate together and work together to just continue to spread the messaging and this support as well, not just here in these cities, like statewide, nationwide, takeovers, like you name it. Like I know there are many Latinas in many big cities out there that are doing some great things. And so it's about just connecting and just keep moving that what is it, that train, that engine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and then congratulations to you as well, because like I said, it's no feat to be able to produce these types of events. People think they're fun, and they are, but the stuff that happens leading up to it is ridiculously crazy. Solo un loco are the only ones that can accomplish these, and trust me, half of the time I'm wondering, am I really that crazy? I think
I don't think you're crazy. I think you're just a determined Latina that's on a mission, and I know what that feels like because I feel like I'm the same in same sense. I have a mission. I'm listening to the signs and the messaging that the good Lord is sending me every day, and so I'm like, okay, all right, Lord, you telling me to go this way, and I'm blind. I am so blind. I have no idea where the end of this road is going to lead, but I know that there's a purpose for me here. So I love hearing your voice because you're such a strong, powerful speaker, and hopefully we can connect again in the near future. You said you're going to be coming out in September?
I think it's going to be October's when we're headed
Oh,
down there. Yeah,
okay. All
yeah.
right. So we definitely can.
As soon as we lock in the location, then we'll start announcing, when the event. It's going to be like a mini conference this time around versus just a little event like we had it last year. But no,
Okay.
yeah, no, congratulations to you all and your team, for your upcoming event as well. Hopefully I'll be able to make it eventually as well out there. If they're
You
not.
are a La Mera Mera, Bessy. That's what our event is called, Las Mera Meras Fest, and you are a La Mera Mera for sure, and a Jefa, and all those wonderful things as well. But yes, for sure.
Well, thank you so much again, Desiree, for having me, and for just really continuing on the one thing, the same idea that I took from Dolores and I ran with it. You are taking off, and the folks in Houston are seeing that, and so I commend you. You're doing an amazing job, and aquí estamos. We're here to support you however we can.
Yes, likewise, likewise. I'm just in awe. I'm just kind of like, man, I want to, like, man, like it's just because I don't know if you know this or I shared this with you, but my mom started the first Mexican American Women's Club here in my area where I live in 1979 because there were no Latina women that were coming together to support the community in a way that they needed it, which was scholarships at the time. There was young girls out there and college students who couldn't get scholarship money because their
Mm,
moms weren't a part of these non-Latino groups. They couldn't become a part of these non-Latino groups to get those types of opportunities. And so my mom started that, and they were able to bring scholarship money to young Latinas. So some people know about my roots, but that is kind of where I have sprung from as well. So it's kind of like my mom's kind of like, wait, you're doing like all the things that I was doing, but like on a whole nother level,
yeah,
like
perfect
whole,
moment.
yeah. And so I always tell people that it is possible to start something. It is important to start. And even back in 1979, when my mom and her friends started, when the community was segregated, or not segregated, but it was very, what is it? A lot of discrimination, a lot of racism at the time. they're still persevered, and they still were able to kind of connect with the community. So that's all I can really say, is to continue to, you're doing the awesome work. We appreciate you so much for coming and spending the little time I know that you have with us. But any last words for our community out there, as far as any dichos or words of wisdom?
No, I would say I'm probably not the most ideal person to give those types of, affirmations and empowerment. I just talk. But I would definitely say, I think the highlight, or the theme that I've been seeing a lot is, the number one question I always get asked is, what if somebody wants to start a business? What do they do? Or what if they have this idea? What do you recommend? And I think the best thing that I have possibly told everybody, which is probably the most direct, is start. You have an idea, start. That's none of this would have ever happened if I didn't just start. And then what that looks like later on, you just go with it as flow. I think I'm one of those that, as long as I sit in gratitude and I go with flow and I continue keeping my authentic self at forefront, then that's the only way I'm going to continue to be successful and be able to really truly accomplish the things that I know that I can. And so I think that's what I recommend to everybody else. Just be you. You do you, boo.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you heard it here, guys, here on Let's Vamonos Live. We appreciate you so much, Bessy Martinez. And again, we thank y'all so much for the love and support, but let's vamonos. We got to go. Bye.
Bye.